Hello, my stylish friends. I want to begin with something I've noticed, not just in fashion, but in many of our wardrobes. Have you ever brought something home that felt exciting in the moment, only to find yourself reaching for it less and less over time? Not because it wasn't beautiful, but because it never quite settled into your wardrobe in a natural way. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And most importantly, it's not a reflection of your style. It's often a reflection of how trends are designed. So today, I'd love to gently shift how we think about them and explore a more thoughtful, lasting approach to building a wardrobe that truly supports you. In this video, we'll take a closer look at why trends can quietly work against you, what's actually happening when they enter your wardrobe, and how to approach your style in a way that feels cohesive, flattering, and dependable. Because getting dressed shouldn't feel like starting over each season. It should feel like building something that gets better over time. After spending time studying fashion cycles and observing real women wardrobes, I found that trends are incredibly effective at capturing our attention, but not always at supporting our everyday style. They often highlight one beautiful idea, a color, a silhouette, a detail, but they don't always consider how the pieces integrate into what you already own. And that's where the disconnect begins. You may see something and think, that looks so refined, but when you bring it into your own wardrobe, it doesn't quite create the same effect. And that's not about you. It's about context, how that piece interacts with everything around it. Let's take a closer look at what actually is happening when we rely too heavily on trends, because it's often subtle in the moment and only becomes clearer over time when getting dressed starts to feel more complicated than it should. What I see most often is a quiet disruption of cohesion. You begin to collect pieces that are beautifully individually, but they don't naturally relate to each other. And this is where color cohesion becomes so important. A well-functioning wardrobe typically lives within a thoughtful palette. Tones that layer easily, complement one another, and create a sense of visual calm. When trends enter the picture, they often introduce colors or finishes that sit outside of that palette. So instead of your wardrobe working together effortlessly, you're left trying to find combinations that work. You may stand in front of your closet thinking, I have so many options, but nothing quite feels right together. That's not a lack of clothing, it's a lack of cohesion. And over time, that makes getting dressed feel more like effort than ease. The second piece, and this is a very important one, is silhouette and proportion. Every outfit creates a shape on the body. Silhouette is the overall outline, whether something is more structured, more fluid, more fitted, or more relaxed. Proportion is how those shapes are balanced, where volume sits, where lines begin and end, and how the eye naturally moves through the outfit. Trends tend to spotlight one specific silhouette, an oversized cut, a cropped length, a more exaggerated shape, without considering how that interacts with your natural proportions. So what happens is this: you try something that's very current, but it may add volume where you don't want it, or shorten your visual line, or remove the structure that helps you feel defined. And the result is subtle, but noticeable. The outfit may feel slightly unbalanced, less refined, less like you. This is often when you think, I'm not sure why this isn't working. And the answer is almost always proportion. The third piece is something we've all experienced. There's that initial moment of excitement when something feels fresh and new, and it feels like it might elevate everything. But once it's in your wardrobe, it doesn't integrate as easily as you expected. You may wear it once or twice, but then you begin to hesitate. Not because it isn't beautiful, but because it doesn't feel effortless and to style. And over time, those pieces begin to accumulate. This is how a wardrobe becomes full of potential, but lacking in reliability. You have options, but no solutions. This is where many wardrobes begin to feel full, yet somehow still lacking. Not because you need more, but because what you have wasn't working together in a thoughtful, supportive way. So what do we do instead? We shift from reacting to curating. Instead of asking, is this trending? I want you to begin asking, does this support the structure of my wardrobe? That question changes everything. Structure gives your wardrobe its quiet confidence. It creates definition through the shoulder, through the waist, or the line of a garment. Fit ensures that your clothing works with your proportions rather than against them. When these two are in place, even simple outfits begin to look refined. A versatile piece works across multiple outfits, not just one. It supports your wardrobe instead of asking your wardrobe to support it. If you can style something in several ways with what you already own, it becomes part of your foundation. And that's what creates ease. Trends can be beautiful, but they work best when they're used thoughtfully. A shoe, a texture, a subtle color shift, these can add freshness without disrupting your wardrobe. Your foundation remains steady. The trend simply adds interest. Structure gives your wardrobe shape. Versatility gives it function. And thoughtful trend accents give it a sense of freshness. Together, they create a wardrobe that feels both elevated and livable. If you're looking for pieces that naturally support this kind of wardrobe, I've taken time to curate a selection of refined, versatile staples that align with everything we're talking about here today. You'll find these linked in my LTK below, chosen for their structure, their versatility, and how beautifully they integrate into everyday outfits. And if you enjoy learning about style in a way that feels thoughtful and practical, consider subscribing, because this is exactly what we explore together here. This doesn't mean avoiding trends altogether. It simply means approaching them with intention. Think of a trend as inspiration, not instruction. When your wardrobe is grounded, you can incorporate small elements, a silhouette detail, a fabric, a color, without losing cohesion. Once you begin approaching your wardrobe this way, everything becomes easier. You stop feeling the need to constantly replace things. Your outfits come together more naturally. And most importantly, you begin to feel more like yourself in what you're wearing. This is what I like to think of as practical luxury, pieces that feel as good as they look and support your life in a meaningful, lasting way. You don't need more clothing to feel polished. You simply need a more thoughtful approach to choosing it. I'd love to know, have you experienced a piece that felt exciting at first, but didn't quite last in your wardrobe? Those moments often tell us exactly what we need to refine. If you enjoy learning about style in a way that feels thoughtful and practical, I would love for you to consider subscribing. There's so much more to explore together. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.